What I'm saying is, you can't be shocked if you're telling millions of people that and they believe it. You can't be shocked. But there are different types of lies. There are lies like, hey, does this shirt make me look fat? No, man, you look all right. Some kid's got some terminal illness. You're going to make it through just fine. Maybe you know that's not the truth. It's a lie. I caught the biggest fish you've ever seen. It's a lie. Yeah, I'll pay you back next Tuesday. Lie. You understand how there's different types of lies and different severity levels? It's the biggest crowd anyone's ever had. It's a lie. No one respects women more than me. It's a lie. We have the greatest economy the world has ever seen. It's a lie. My opponent's deficit was the worst the country's ever seen. It's a lie. Now, we could quibble, is it a lie if you believe it? You get what I'm saying. None of that shit's good. Sometimes you could directionally be true, like, okay, Biden's deficit wasn't the highest ever, but his debt level is. Still technically not true when you said deficit, but it's not a lie in the sense of like, oh my God, it's like the lowest debt and deficit ever, and he said it was the biggest. No, it's... But I don't mind the left calling that out. It's fair game. Yeah, if it's not true, it's not true. Call it out. Those are lies. All of the lies combined fails to live up to the damage of the most core and central lie that represents everything Joe Biden's presidency stands for, that he repeats over and over and over and over and over again. And the reason this lie is so damaging and so terrible is that, one, it is easily disprovable, and yet still the lie is repeated. Second, the amount of people that believe the lie, including, or at least espouse the lie, including from people in positions of power like Biden himself, the mainstream media, the Democratic Party, matriculating down to millions of people believing this lie. Millions. 3, it is because Biden said it was literally the reason for him running for president. So it is central to him. It is the reason that he's running, and it's a lie. And lastly, because as we have said, this lie is amongst the most heinous things that you could label someone. Give me the top 2 or 3 of the worst smears you could put on someone in our country today. In other words, if I wanted to accuse someone of the worst possible thing, I would say this person is a... And what would that be? A racist. Yep, a racist. Traitor, come on. A racist is right up there. But what, if you had to name a specific group of racists, that if it came out that you were of this group, what is the most damaging one you could think of? It's 4 letters. This person is a... It would be unrecoverable if true in our society. That's right, Anon. That's right. A Nazi. They're a Nazi. That's it. There is nowhere in polite society, whether you're a gas station attendant or a politician or anything in between, that would be recoverable from. It is the worst smear that you could put. Even child assaulter is probably less damaging because Nazi is so ingrained in our public ideology as so damaging and unforgivable that, my God, to be one is beyond the pale. You're drummed out of everywhere in polite society. So much so that we have serious conversation. I would go so far as to say that not only reasonable people, but maybe literally half the people in our country, if truly asked, would say, yes, it's okay to punch a Nazi. Joe Biden has claimed since 2020 that the reason that he ran for office was the Fine People hoax. A hoax that was perpetuated on the American people by almost every institution in this country, led by the mainstream media, that said that Donald Trump called Nazis fine people. I argued breathlessly at the time how damaging this lie was, how easily refutable it was. It didn't matter. The lie took hold. Now, there are other lies that were similarly egregious. Trump said to inject bleach. He did not. How many times have you seen me on this channel? Someone will come in my chat. Oh, like when Trump said to drink bleach. Trump didn't say to drink bleach. Let's go through the flow. Okay, he didn't say to drink it. He said inject it. Trump didn't say to inject bleach. Can you show me the word bleach? Well, he said disinfectant, and disinfectant's a synonym for bleach. That's not true. There are other disinfectants, including medical disinfectants, including some that are used that are injected. Well, but it's clear that he was talking about bleach there. No, they were specifically talking about UV light to be injected in the body, which is a disinfectant, which is most likely what he was talking about. Well, nonetheless, he was telling people to take unapproved medical treatments. No, he wasn't. He was saying it would be interesting if medical scientists looked into that. He didn't tell anyone to take any sort of treatment. Well, he said Nazis were good people. That's how that conversation goes 95% of the time. But even that, as damaging as that lie was, doesn't rise to the level. What would you do? What would you do if you thought the President of the United States was a guy saying Nazis are good people? That you were told Nazis just overtook this town of Charlottesville and they beat these innocent people, many of them women. Just innocent people saying, we don't like Nazis, we're here protesting. And the evil Nazis went, rah, and beat the shit out of them. And then ran over one of them with a car, murdering her. And Trump saw that and went, yes, these Nazis are good. What would you do? Because that's what millions of people in this country believe. They believe that. Joe Biden says, that was the moment I said, I'm running for president. And that's the narrative that stuck. Never mind. You could go right to where he said that. You can go right to the transcript, as we will here shortly. And you can see, he clearly says there are fine people on both sides and bad people on both sides. Clearly, I'm not talking about the Nazis, the racists, they should be condemned. Could not be more clear. Doesn't matter. The narrative stuck. The truth is irrelevant. You remember when I said, what I can't do to you in good conscience is blatantly lie to you? They don't give a fuck. They say we're better than Trump. Trump's a threat to our power. Or Trump's an evil person. So fuck it. If we have to lie, so be it. Now, given that, it would have been the easiest thing in the world, once there was an assassination attempt on Trump, for me to come on here and say, listen, the fact that Joe Biden literally said the reason he was running for office was gaslighting the American people, just like Democrats had for years, to the fact that millions of people legitimately think that the dude that was president and is the frontrunner for being president in the future is a fucking Nazi. They legitimately believe it. So, of course, even if it wasn't this specific person, inevitably someone will say, my God, I have to stop Hitler. Which is why I went hard at Lonerbox there on X when he said, at what point after the assassination, at what point should we have assassinated Hitler? You don't see what you're gaslighting people? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Oh, Trump's Hitler, and oh, shouldn't we have taken Hitler out? That's what Vosh does. Does that mean there can't be people that want to harm Trump for other reasons? No, of course not. Does that mean that this would-be assassin, murdering sack of shit, listened to Biden's statement and that's why he did it? I have no proof of that. What I'm saying is, you can't be shocked if you're telling millions of people that and they believe it. You can't be shocked. Inevitably, something like that's going to happen.
Lester, I got in this race early on in 2020 for the 2020 race. I wasn't going to run again because I had lost my son. I didn't feel, and until I watched what happened in Charlottesville, Virginia. Those folks coming out of the woods with torches, carrying swastikas, singing the same Nazi bile. It was accompanied by the Ku Klux Klan, and a young woman was killed. And it was a bystander. And the then president was asked what do you think? He said, they're very fine people on both sides. Not fine people on both sides.
Fuck you, Joe Biden. Fuck you. I let it go. I didn't come on here and say Biden's responsible for this assassination attempt. But after it, when you're saying we need unity, we need to tone down the rhetoric, I forgive you saying, but we think Trump would be a danger to this country. That's fine. I didn't even flip out when you said we think he would destroy democracy. I think that's irresponsible, but I didn't comment on it. But to intentionally spread the worst fucking hoax in the history of this country that's been spread on a platform like this, and how damaging it was, how it fucked up so many people on the left, who now millions of people think Trump's a Nazi sympathizer, and to come out after he was shot and someone was murdered by a would-be assassin and say, oh, well, let me remind you again, Lester, when you specifically asked me about that assassination attempt, that Trump basically said Nazis were fine people. Fuck you. It's inexcusable. That's inexcusable. He knows that Trump didn't say Nazis are good people. The media knows it. The Democrat knows it. He knows that they gaslit millions of people to believing it. He knows that he's calling for unity. He knows Trump just got an assassination attempt. He could come out and say, look, yeah, there's been a lot of heated rhetoric on both sides. I think Trump's a terrible president. I don't think he's necessarily a moral man, but my God. But no, he intentionally spreads this hoax and lie, knowing that we're in a country, not only when there was an assassination attempt, but a cursory look at social media will show you huge swaths of people saying, I don't know, maybe I wish that bullet would have hit. And that's what you're going to say in that environment. Now you might say, well, that's really bad, Rob, but cooler heads will prevail. Surely this was universally condemned by would-be Democratic voters, especially those who have criticized Trump's rhetoric. Right? Hell, I'm not even saying they'll say, I'm not going to vote for Biden, but they might say, yeah, that was massively irresponsible. I still think Trump's worse. I'll still vote for Biden. But my God. What do you think the chances of that are? I haven't seen one. I haven't seen one Democrat that I know say, holy shit. What? Most of them believe the hoax.
Neo-Nazis started this. They showed up in Charlottesville to protest.
Excuse me, they didn't put themselves down as neo, and you had some very bad people in that group. But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, excuse me, I saw the same pictures as you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name.
Robert E. Lee are not the same.
Well, no, George Washington was a slave owner. Was George Washington a slave owner? So will George Washington now lose his status? Are we going to take down, excuse me, are we going to take down statues to George Washington? How about Thomas Jefferson? What do you think of Thomas Jefferson? You like him?
I do love
Okay,
Thomas
good.
Jefferson.
Are we going to take down the statue? Because he was a major slave owner. Now, we're going to take down his statue. So you know what? It's fine. You're changing history. You're changing culture. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. And I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. And I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay?